Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing another pick my book video where you get to select which book I read next month. For this month I've picked out 5 of my book of the month picks because I am deeply ashamed at the number of book of the month books that I have accumulated and yet haven't read. So help me out here. Pick one that you would most like to see me read, and I'll at least get one read and move on. All 5 of these books are books that I've heard good things about, books that I think will be interesting, that I'm excited to read all of these books. It's not just a matter of getting book of the month books cycled through, but also, you know, I don't pick book of the month books that I'm not interested in. If I'm not interested in a book, I skip the month. I'm okay with doing that. So I've accumulated these book of the month books that I'm genuinely very interested in and that have turned out to be really great pieces of literature. And yet I've not read them. So I've selected 5. You tell me in the comments down below which of these 5 you most want me to read and most want to hear my thoughts on. First is probably the oldest book on this particular list. It was book of the month in February of 2018. It is The Broken Girls by Simone St. James. I'm interested in reading this because Simone St. James has another novel coming out in 2020. I can't remember, Sunset Motel, something about I don't know. I can't remember the name of it right now. If I was a good booktuber, I'd look it up. But moving right along. This is a story. It's a dual timeline. So it's a story of a girls' home in the 1950s that is called Idlewild Hall. And it was believed to be haunted. And there's 4 girls staying in this hall that form this friend group. And so we're following their story, but we're also following a present day story of a journalist whose older sister died and her body was found just outside of or nearby this Idlewild Hall school for girls. And so someone is restoring the school, and our journalist Fiona is going to do a story about it, and she uncovers the link between this school for girls and the death of her sister. Next we have An Anonymous Girl. This is by Greer, Hendricks, and Sarah Pekkanen. This is really popular this year. I believe it was one of Goodreads books of 2019, I think. I loved their first collab, The Wife Between Us. I really liked that book. This is their second collab together. And it is the story of a psychology study and the girl who signs up for it, and kind of this psychological play between the subject and the psychologist, Dr. Shields. So I've not heard, I mean, obviously it was very popular in 2019, but I can't say that I've heard anybody say this is one of my favorite books of the year. I haven't. I just think it sounds pretty interesting. The psychology study, you know, becomes very invasive for Jessica. That's our subject. And like I said, there starts to be some mysterious relationship kind of rising to the surface between this Dr. Shields person who selected her for the study. So next, this book probably needs no introduction. It's No Exit by Taylor Adams. This topped a lot of people's favorites. A lot of people love this book. It is the story of a group of travelers stranded at a rest stop during a winter storm, and one of our characters discovers this woman like locked in a cage in a vehicle. And it becomes about our main character, Darby, trying to uncover what's going on with this girl and save this girl from captivity. So she's stranded with a bunch of strangers, doesn't know who is holding this girl captive. So I've heard that it is like a nonstop thrill ride, super high stakes, super high tension. People really adored it for those aspects. And I'm sure, I mean, that's what's drawing me to it. That's why I want to read it. So let me know. I was wrong. February 2018 is not the oldest book on this list. The Blinds by Adam Sternbergh is. I was thinking this came out after, but whatever. I was wrong. I do remember when this came out being very, very intrigued by it. I was also encouraged because the author of one of my favorite science fiction reads of 2017, Tal Klein, was reading and tweeting about The Blinds and saying how much he enjoyed it. But this is the story. Hang on. I got a sticky note in there. So this is a story of kind of this intentionally made settlement called The Blinds in Texas, where criminals have been chosen, selected, had their memories altered, and then been placed in this town to live amongst each other and told, you know, if you leave, you'll die. Live peacefully. I think it's for like 8 years, live peacefully, but then someone commits suicide and someone commits murder, and we're following the sheriff of this town of former criminals, and he has his own secrets. It says this may be a prison, and this may not be a prison, and it may not be purgatory, but it's sure as hell not a paradise either. This is The Blinds. And I just remember being fascinated by it on a, I don't know, like psychological level. It takes place, like, the book takes place like over the course of a week. And so it's just one that I've always wanted to read and just haven't. I don't know what to say. And finally, a book that also needs no introduction, Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. This is the third from the author. I read Final Girls. I did not read The Last Time I Lied, although it is also in my Book of the Month unread collection. But I'm just more interested at this point in time in reading Lock Every Door. Again, on a lot of people's favorites list for 2019. I am excited. But basically, this is the story of an apartment sitter in this complex of apartments. I don't know. In this group of apartments where, you know, her job comes with some very specific rules. She's not allowed to have other people in. She's not allowed to be out past a certain time. But Jules does befriend someone else in this apartment building and starts to learn that things are not as glamorous as they seem. And she ends up getting thrust into this like murder mystery. Those are the 5 picks. Those are the 5 options for the Pick My Book, the book that I will read next month. Let me know your thoughts. Again, Lock Every Door, The Blinds, No Exit, about to drop them, An Anonymous Girl, and The Broken Girls. Tell me which one down in the comment section below you'd like to hear my thoughts on. I look forward to seeing which one you guys pick. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all very soon.